Dislyte. So I've been doing Temporal Tower for a little bit. I mean, I'm currently just at floor 19. But a lot of you guys actually raised to me about the changes in the drops here. So I actually went ahead to figure out how it differed. So I actually referred to one of my previous videos. So what you're seeing here is actually from one of my previous videos, and I lucked out and happened to find it. If not, I wouldn't have found it anyway. So back then, right, these were the rewards, or at least back in the SSM days, which is just like a couple of weeks ago. So the 50th floor reward is a platinum record, and the 45th floor reward is a shimmer record. Then there is also a legendary abilimon, 500 nexus crystals, 2 gold records, 1 legendary starimon, 300 nexus crystals here, 2 epic starimon, 250 nexus crystals, and 1 additional gold record. Plus 4 SSMs via the non-boss floors, because every single one of the non-boss floors, I think you get 5 pieces of the SSM fragments, so you get a total of 200 SSM fragments by completing the entire tower. So obviously you guys are curious to know how much they are worth in terms of nexus crystals, so a lot of these are just numbers based on my own opinion. So for example, anything with a star here is just going by my own opinion and nothing else. So a platinum record, I kind of value it at 1000. I wouldn't really want to buy it for more. It has a 5% legendary drop rate, which is pretty good, but I don't really feel like it's gonna offer that much because it doesn't drop shimmer espers after all. So the shimmer record is worth 1000 according to the black market, and the legendary abilimon, I price it at 4000 because I think it's really worth that amount. And 3 gold records, I value it at 600 because of the shop. Nexus crystals, there are 1050. And here comes the Starimon, which is a little bit harder for me to price because there is no obvious way for us to obtain Starimon right now apart from, let's say, the cube shop or by summoning a lot of extra dupes. So I kind of want to price it based on my gut feeling, which is 1 legendary Starimon going for 500 Nexus crystals. I feel like this is probably a little bit too expensive in my opinion, but this is probably something that a lot of you guys might be willing to afford just to get 1 5-star Starimon. So 2 epic Starimon would then be worth 200 Nexus crystals because of the fusion formula. And sorry, my bad here, for SSMs, this is not 600, this is 1200 Nexus crystals worth, which is a grand total of 9550 Nexus crystals per month by clearing the Temporal Tower. So now that we are done with the previous month, let's take a look at what we are currently facing right now. So I'm actually going to delete some of these rows here, just to clear, oh my god, I accidentally inserted rows. So on the right there is the null, and for the top 3 rewards they will be the same, but there will be some changes. For example, 2 reset stones, 1 gold record here, 1 epic Starimon, no longer a 5-star Starimon, and 4 more gold records down the line. And to replace the SSMs, they actually provided us an additional 1200 Nexus crystals and 1.2 million gold. And of course these numbers are based on the non-boss floors. So like all of these extra floors over here, they would always provide us with 30k gold and 30 Nexus crystals per clear. So let's scroll down a little bit just to see what everything is worth. So the Platinum record stays the same, the Shimmer record stays the same, Legendary Abilimon stays the same as well, which means that we technically do not need to consider these numbers at all. So we only need to look at everything else below that is slightly different. So in terms of reset stone, we now have 800 Nexus crystals worth of it. Based on the black market, which I kind of agree it's worth somewhere about 800 Nexus crystals as well. And we do have 2 more gold records for an extra value of 1000 Nexus crystals as opposed to 600 in the past. But because we lose the legendary Starimon and we lose 1 copy of the epic Starimon for some reason, we now only have 1 epic Starimon for a value of 100, which is entirely based on my opinion. And for the 1.2 million gold that we will get via the non-boss floors, this would actually amount to 800 according to the Plaza price, which is basically 1.5 million gold for 1000 Nexus crystals. But I still feel like that is a bit of a scam, so I'm actually going to halve it further to 400 Nexus crystals. I feel like 400 is probably where it's worth. And last but not least, of course, we need to include the Nexus crystals that we get from the non-boss floor for 1200 Nexus crystals. So the big question is, how much is this entire thing worth as compared to what it's worth previously as well? So drum roll. Right. So the total value is actually 9500, which is really close, right? These two numbers are basically identical. I mean, in order for the current value to seem worse off, you will need to increase the value of your Starimon, which I don't think a lot of you guys would. So for example, instead of 1 epic Starimon costing 100, if you price it at 200 Nexus crystals, that's going to change the gap a little bit more. So much so that the previous tower is going to be worth slightly more. But I really don't think that epic Starimons and legendary Starimons are worth anything more than what they are, going by these values that I've input over here. So all in all, I don't feel like the Temporal Tower has changed in terms of its valuation. I feel like things are still the same. And in fact, I think things are a little bit better as well, because previously we only had 1050 Nexus crystals, but now we have 1,200 Nexus Crystals, and I know it doesn't really make any difference because we care about the total valuation, but to some players out there, this additional Nexus Crystals that we can get per month is actually a little bit better value because it's flexible currency. It can either be used for refills, memo chips, or even just buying the gold records directly. The choice is yours, which means that I would gladly take this current figure as opposed to the previous figure. But of course, at the end of the day, these are just my opinions anyways. So if let's say you value the Epic Starmon at 200 a piece, so that means this is like worth 400 on the left, and then this would be worth 1000, right? Then yeah, the value changes a little bit, but this I feel like it's an extreme valuation, and that only puts you at a 600 disadvantage, which in my opinion is really not worth crying about. I feel like they did an okay job with balancing the Nexus Crystals valuation over here. So that's it for this video, guys. Anyway, I know it's a hot take, and a lot of you guys are going to disagree just because you guys want to hate on Lilith games right now, but I feel like moving forward, we need to be a little bit more objective as well. So it's not just about getting angry, we need to be angry at the right things so that they change the things that matter the most. So like for example, the Sonic Rifts, they did improve it because of your opinions. So I feel like the best thing for us to do right now is to put our energy into the things that matter most, which is basically the Ritual Miracles. It is still hard as fuck. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now with that said, this has been Derry Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.